Nation, this video is going to be an absolute pleasure for me. It's a fantastic day for hard rock, it's a fantastic day for metal, it's a fantastic day for music, and I think I'm going to make someone's day by reviewing this, but I'm going to review something that was sent to me from a fan of the channel, not to mention also somebody who I've communicated on Facebook and things like that. He's been promoting this album via Facebook and his website relentlessly. If you happen to be friends with him on Facebook, you've probably seen a lot of notifications regarding this, a lot of statuses, but it's just a man who's working very hard to get his stuff out there. Brent "WILDMAN" Enman with his album WILDMAN. This is hopefully not the last review, the first and not the last. Hopefully this is something where it gets around and this gets a little bit of publicity, because this is definitely an album that really rekindles the old spirit of good old-fashioned hard rock, rock and roll, with a little bit of a harder twinge to it. You know, you think of this stuff, you think of a couple of different decades. You think of the 70s, you think of the 80s, where hard rock really was the king. Where metal, in a way, it was just kind of established as this little niche, this harder niche of hard rock that came out in a lot of different bands in a lot of different ways, but up until this point, there were the groundbreakers, there were the trailblazers, but hard rock, stuff like the Scorpions and bands of that nature was really king. And this is an album that whenever I listen to it really harkens back to stuff like that. Perhaps not with as many of the power riffs that you're going to hear in the No One Like You's and stuff like that, but instead this is just music that feels like it is coming straight from this gentleman's soul. You know, this is a guy who channeled in his deepest and sometimes his darkest emotions in order to pour forth the lyrics on this record, and then worked meticulously with the instrumentalization by doing everything that surrounds it. This is almost like a one-man band. However, this was also expertly done by this man, considering he was kind of doing the true do-it-yourself method with this record, and just really worked his butt off. He released I Lost My American Dream, which is track number 2, kind of as the first official single. And it's only fitting that that happens to be the song that he chose, considering we've been living in such uncertain times over the past couple of years. And the times constantly have been shifting to a point where confusion and argumentation and just a lot of conflict seem to be the status quo. And he's speaking of a lot of different items on this song that speak toward many different presidents' terms, whether it be Obama's term, whether it be Bush Jr.'s term, second term or first term, all really depending on where in the song you're examining. You know, he's really taking a bipartisan approach in this. He's not necessarily levying his criticism, you know, to the benefit of one at the expense of the other. He's really just saying that my American dream has been completely lost and shattered. You know, my job has been shipped overseas. I'm willing to work hard, but nobody wants to hire me, you know, and things of that nature. And then the rest of this album also just continues the very personal nature of this record, while at the same time also doing the one thing that I think a lot of musicians sometimes forget to do, and that's just to have fun. I think sometimes there are a lot of musicians out there, whether they be starter musicians or even established musicians, can even be caught into this trap where they really tend to take the product, they tend to take the subject matter and everything that surrounds it a little too seriously, and forget just to go in there and to play songs that are fun and make them feel good, and, you know, really channel in a deeper emotion and just kind of do what feels natural. You know, that deeper emotion is sometimes the most natural element, and sometimes it is forced to the back burner by artists that feel the need to present and keep and preserve a certain image. This is a man who is not only doing this in a DIY method, but he's also doing it in a very genuine method. He's doing it with a very personal method, and all of those things combined makes this a very enjoyable experience. It really gives you a true snapshot of what goes on inside this guy's mind. It gives you a true snapshot of Americana. It kind of gives you a pulse of how things kind of operate. And how things kind of feel. You know, you have songs such as I Lost My American Dream, which, you know, describe how a lot of Americans felt. all for the show, you know, the true aspects of a showman. And then you have songs like Man of the Past, Too Good to Be True, Shadow on My Heart, you know, talking about love lorn or love lost. You know, this is the portrait of a man. And I like this portrait of a man a lot. You know, I really enjoyed this record. I felt it to be in that realm where I felt connected to the artist. And that is a very, very difficult thing to really experience. It's something where you almost have to hold a DIY album like this of a dude who's just playing songs straight from his soul in order to feel it. And I really like the feeling. It makes me really respect what these independent artists go through. So Brent, I gotta give you 2 thumbs up on this record. I'm not even gonna go with the numerical 1 to 10 scale because, let's face it, man, this is just a superior album in the fact that it is very personal, and I really enjoyed the experience. I really hope you are able to sell a ton of these, and I hope that you get a lot more press, brother. You know, spread this around to everybody if you want. I hope that you do, but, you know, think about yourself and your product first. Think about my review, you know, last, considering I'm just a critic, and you are the artist here. You are what's important because you are what make that possible. And I'm choking on myself here. So thank you very much, guys. Please hit this guy up on Facebook and sample out the work. It's available on iTunes and things like that as well. He'll tell you the lowdown. Subscribe to him. All that fun stuff. Great guy. Great guy. Thank you very much. And also, thank you for the really, really cool signature band. I really appreciate that. Take care.